tonight we're going to be talking all things about tyres. So puncture repairs, tubeless top-ups, tyre pressures and tyre choice. So we're going to go through the basics of how to change a tyre, how to top up your tubeless sealant by putting a little bit of extra fluid in there for you. And then from there we'll talk about what tyre pressures you should run or where you should find out the information for that and the tyre choice for you. First of all, we're going to go through changing the tyre. So I've just loosened the quick release, taken the front wheel out. As you can see, it's nice and loose. I need to inflate it. So from there, you want to have the key things to make your life easy is a tyre lever. So with that, you want to make sure that the valve's done, the tyre's actually empty. So from there, once the tyre's empty and you know that there's definitely a hole, you want to go through, there's a couple different things. So you want to debead the tyre. You actually want to get the tyre to come off the rim. So with that, I've gone round. You can tell it's a whole lot more movement. You can actually see, you can see into the rim now. So that makes it easier when you actually come to taking the tyre off. So with the tyre levers I had before, this part here comes up, under, and when you get in there, there's a couple different ways. If it's a hard tyre to get off, you're going to get up and under, and you're actually just going to leave the tyre lever on there for you. So it makes your life easier, and then you use the second one. From there, you do the same thing. You put it in, you get it under the tyre bead, which is this part here. So for those at home that don't know, this is your tyre bead. It's the bit of wire that helps keep the tyre and the tube connected. So from there, once it's in, if I go round, you go the whole way round, the tyre is now off the rim. So from there, I can now see in. From there, you want to pull the old tyre out, old tube out of the tyre, and that's just going to allow you to see where the hole is or what's caused it. So from there, I'm going to keep this on my shoulder because I'm going to reuse it, but you're going to run your fingers through. So with that, the tyre's off, you got heaps of room, get your hand inside, run your finger through. Quite often it's something like a piece of glass or a little bit of wire or rubbish that's on the road that's actually like caused the issue. So go through, run your fingers the whole way around, do a second time if you don't find anything. The other way, you can also inspect the rim. So here you've got the white part here, you can go through. If that's uncovered and slipped to the side, then you want to do something so you can actually make sure that there's no metal straight onto the tube, because that's going to pinch the tube. So from there, we're going to go through and do the complete opposite in reverse. So you've got your tube. With that, you can see this one's partially already inflated. That's how you want to do it. When you buy a brand new tube, you want to take it out of the box and add just a little bit of pressure to it. It's just going to prevent you from causing a pinch flat as you do it. So from there, you're going to go through. You're going to put the valve through the hole, and then starting in reverse, you're going to go through, put the tube back into the rim. So it's stuffing it back full, nice and clearly. So once it's back in the tyre, you're going to start at the valve. So from here, you're then going to just slowly push it using your thumbs. You're actually trying to push it up and over so that the rim strips all sit in correctly. So moving the tyre around, and again you'll come to a part here, it just uses a little bit of force to get that last little bit. Push it over, and it's on. So from there, this side of the tyre is all back on the rim, as is this side, nice and smooth, happy to go. So if you're on the trail, you're going to use a hand pump. If you're at home, you might have a floor pump. Or if you're like me that's cheating tonight, I'm going to use my compressor that I had loaded nice and easy. So from there, make sure you've got your valve core undone, and then you're just going to inflate it, and your tyre is going to be pumped up. Easy to go again. So with that, as you can see, that's done up. So you're going to do that. So making sure it's holding, there's no air leaking out of it. So with that, you know you've done a good job. So there, we're going to tuck that back into the bike. So with this, we've got disc brakes. Make sure that it goes nice and smooth. Back in between the brakes. Make sure it's centered in the fork. do the quick release back up. So for those, just make sure it's firm. So once it's done up, that's for those if you can and can't see, it's very loose still. So make sure it's nice and tight because you don't want your wheel to come undone. So do it nice and tight, good to go again, happy as. Not all bikes run tubes. So if you're running a mountain bike and now more of a gravel bike, you're going to go into something that's running a tubeless setup. So with that, there's no tube inside the tyre, it runs a sealant. So if you get a nick in your tyre, you're going to do something and it's going to come out. If you have a hole, the liquid inside will hit it and it's going to dry up and it's going to fill up that hole for you. So with that, there's two different options. I'm going to do a different option to what I would normally do, but one is doing exactly what we've done on the first one. So you can pull the sidewall off and top it up. Today what we're going to do is an easy top up, which all you do, you get your tyre. So this one's nice and easy for me. All you do, you get a little widget, which most bikes come with them. All that does, that will go through and it takes the valve core off. So it gives you a straight hole to fill it up. Tonight I'm using some stands, but you're going to go through, make sure it's clean. This one's already open, but make sure you've taken the lid off. Put it back on. And then with that, you're just going to fill it up. So this does go dry quite often, so every 3 to 6 months you want to be double checking it. So you're going to squirt a bottle. The reason I've chosen this is it's tyre specific, so it's set up for a whole tyre. So it's there. I come upside down just so I don't get splashback of the leftovers. That's there, nice and clean. And same with the tyre. Tyre replacement, you do everything in reverse. So I've still got my widget and I've got my little valve core. So that goes in. I'll do it up by hand to start and then we go in here. So with that, I'll put the core back in, I'll put a bit more stand sealant in there, we're good to go. Again, I'm using the compressor because it's 7 o'clock in the evening and running it up. So the first time you run them, you want to put a little bit more pressure than you do for riding in, just to make sure they seal and hold correctly. At the end of all of that, you want to make sure you put your valves cores back in nice and tight, good to go. It's always nice just to run around a little bit just to make sure the sealant's going to go into the place that it needs to do. So you've got all the spoke holes in there, it's going in, happy days, moving it around, good to go. We're going to go on to tyre pressures. That's one of those ones that it depends on where, what and how you're riding. So the higher the volume the tyre, so as you can see, even between these two tyres here, this one's thinner, this one's thicker. This one's going to run a lower pressure than something like this. Also this tyre is designed, which we'll get into a little bit more, for a different kind of riding. So the higher the volume, so the bigger the tyre or the fatter the tyre, the lower the pressure you're going to run. The wetter the conditions you are, so currently during winter you are going to run a lower pressure than you are in the middle of summer. Dry and wet conditions are different. By going to tubeless, which we just set up, you're also going to run a lower pressure than you are with something with a tube in it. The reason for that is this has a tube in it. If you run too low a pressure, it's actually going to catch and pinch and it's going to go flat. With the tubeless setup that we had up, with that you can run lower pressures. There's no tube inside, so there's nothing for it to catch on or pinch on. If it gets a hole, it's in the sidewall, normally from a rock or a piece of glass if you're riding around town. Anything other than that, so tubeless will allow you to run that lower pressure. If you want more detail, so for myself on my bike, I ride a lot more all around mountain biking. I run 23 and 26 psi, so 23 in the front, 26 in the rear. That's based on what my riding is. If you want to get detailed and fine tune your setup, you should jump in, talk to one of your local mechanics at a Torpedo7 store. They'd be happy to help you and set you up so that your tyre pressure is set up specifically for how you want to be riding, so you're going to enjoy yourself the most out on the trails. The last big thing we're going to talk about is tyre choice. So as you can see, I'm going to hold 3 different tyres up. This one's the Maxxis Icon, so you can see that one. We've got a Maxxis Minion, which looks quite different again. It's a lot thicker. You can see the profiling of the nubs are different. And we've also got a Maxxis Shorty. What's the difference? Apart from the fact they've got different rim widths on them, they've also got different tread patterns, which that's where it's going to be very different for each and every one of you based on your riding. So this one here, we've got the Icon. You can see it's got nice small knobs. They're close together. What that's designed for, it's a faster ride. So if you're doing a lot more cross-country riding or you're doing a lot more rail, trail and gravel tracks, that's going to help you. So small knobs, close together, all in all, makes it a much faster tyre. So you're going to get from A to B quicker. Going to something like the Minion DHR I've got here, or your DHF, depending on what you run. You're going to go something like this. You can see the knobs are a lot bigger. So compared to the last tyre, they're a lot bigger. They're a lot closer, still close together, but further apart to the last one. They are designed for lots of grip. So if you're riding down in the redwoods, having fun, throwing your bike around, these are a lot more grippy than something like the Icon. So this is a tyre purely for grip. With that, you're going to have fun. So slightly bigger knobs, slightly more spacing, lot more grip. From there, we move over to something like the Shorty. So as you can see, it's got even bigger grips, bigger knobs on it. So from a side profile, bigger knobs, you've got bigger gaps. So I can fit my fingers in between these. These are for wet, loose conditions. So like I say, big spacing, big things, wet, loose condition, they're a lot slower rolling resistance. So especially with mountain bikes and even on road bikes, the wider the tyre, the more control and grip you're going to have. So with mountain bikes, it is going to be something coming into a corner. The fatter the tyre, the more control you're going to have, the smoother it is. It's going to actually give you more traction as you come through. Same with the road. You can get slightly wider tyres. It's just going to make it a lot more comfortable and a lot more controlled for you. So that's the big thing. People have personal preference, especially when it comes to mountain bikes. Some will run a 2.2, 3, 4, 5 or 2.6 in the front. You can go more and more from there, but you can run slightly smaller in the back. Again, my personal preference is I run a 2.4 in the rear and a 2.5 in the front. It's a good combination for the riding that I do, which again, I like to pedal, but I also like to come down hills and throw my bike around. So that's the big thing, is playing around with your tyre choice to see what you're doing and where you're actually trying to do most of your riding is what width you're going to do. With that, depends on the sealant you're using, but every 3 to 6 months is the recommendation from most of the different brands. So it will dry up over time, so you do have to keep chopping it up. Yes, in the short stint, it's better than nothing. It's going to prevent your tube from rubbing onto the metal on metal of the rim, and it's going to help. For a tubeless setup, I would recommend a proper tubeless tape. It's going to make your life easier and a lot more safer pretty much. You're not going to get out to the middle of nowhere and not know what to do. Quick answer is yes. With that, the tyre has the right bead in it, so it means that it's going to allow you to have the right pressures to put the sealant inside. You just want to double check the rim is actually set up for it and you've got the right setup in there. So with that, it may or may not hold on the side, so it's recommended to use a tyre that says tubeless on the side. It's set up and designed specifically for that, so it's recommended to stick with ones that say tubeless setup or tubeless ready. If you don't, the sidewalls on the tyre might just blow out and you're going to get 20 k's from home and not be able to get home and have to walk. Remember, if you do have any questions that I haven't quite answered, jump in, talk to your local Torpedo7 mechanic. They'll be happy to help point you in the right direction. At the end of the day, we're all riders. We all love to get out there and have fun. So at the end of the day, if we can help you do that, we'll give you the advice. We give out a free Torpedo7 safety check. So jump in, talk to your mechanic. They can give your bike a quick once over. That's something they'll go through, do a bolt check, see if it needs any parts, talk to you, and again just help you get your bike dialed in and ready for currently the winter spring months, and then coming into summer we can also get you ready for the change of change of conditions. Thanks for joining. We'll see you out there.